Supporting the Bulldogs, we're all in. Tate Branch Auto Group, revving up the Bulldog pride. Go Bulldogs! Welcome back to our Tate Branch Fan of the Week segment. And we're in Santa Teresa. I know many of you are not, but that's why we're there, to bring you the ball game, and it's time to do our Fan of the Week segment, and we have a great Fan of the Week, Jeff Bowman. Jeff, thank you so much for doing this.
Glad to be able to help out.
Yeah, Jeff, a longtime resident of this area. You were telling me about how you and your brother grew up on the farm wanting to be a Bulldog, wanting to play football.
Absolutely. Back in those days, we didn't have computers, we didn't have internet, we didn't have video games, and so all we had basically was each other out in the country. And so we would go out and we would play football and other sports, and our highlight every fall was Friday night. We didn't have too much exciting going on as far as the what was happening out there, and so what we looked forward to was going to the Bulldog football games, and we enjoyed that greatly. And in between that time, we would get out in the front yard when we were little guys, and we would play football and throw passes to each other. After that, as we got bigger and kind of outgrew the yard, then we went to the road and to the alfalfa fields and threw passes to each other. And we grew up, and we absolutely love Bulldogs, and our blood runs orange.
That is great. So you grew up at a time while the Bulldog legacy was being built by L.G. Henderson. The Bulldog Bowl was built. You probably got to see that as that was actually being constructed.
Absolutely. And a lot of the early football championship games we saw, well, anything that was any game at home, we watched that. And remember the big hole in the out there, and wondering what it was going to look like ultimately, and turned out to be a magnificent facility and very respected over the state.
Still first class to this day. So you get to go to high school, you get to play sports, you and your brother. You played football. L.G. Henderson was your coach, but you also had a Henderson that was on the team with you.
That's right. My brother was quarterback in 1969, started, he was our backup in 69, starter in 70, and then I started in 71 and 72. Well, in my class, Cripper Henderson was in that class, and number 88, he played tight end, and unfortunately for him, we had mainly a running offense, and so he was blocking most of the time. We ran the old Green Bay, Lombardi, guard pull, guard trap type offense, as well as the lead plays, and but every once in a while we would throw the ball.
Every once in a while. Did they throw it to the slot, or did they actually throw it to the tight end?
Well, every once in a while we threw it to the tight end. In fact, I was mentioning to you earlier that after the practice each day, everybody else would go in, and Cripper and I would stay out, and we would run the pass patterns and plays that were applicable to the tight end, and those were mainly throwbacks or a special play called, my senior is like 626 lead pass, which we faked the lead play, which everybody thought we were going to run the lead because we did it 99.9% of the time. And we faked it. Usually the tight end would slip out and be open. And in fact, we did that at a special game my junior year. At the end of the season, we didn't make the playoffs, and Carlsbad didn't. Back then, only a few teams did. And so at the end of the season, they arranged a special game between Carlsbad and Artesia. And only the juniors and the sophomores and the freshmen who were going to be on the team next year played. And so we went up there and we played the game. And right at the end of the game, we were behind, and we were driving, and we were running a couple of the patterns, a throwback pattern that went to the tight ends, and a couple went to Cripper, and a couple went to the other end. And so we get down near the goal line, and it's only a couple of yards, and so we line up in the formation that everybody expects us to run the lead play off the tackle. And Coach Henderson calls the 626 lead pass, which we've practiced hour after hour after hour. So fake the ball, the handoff into the inside, and of course they crashed out. Cripper went to the outside, and somehow I managed to get the pass to him, and he made a good catch, and we ended up winning that football game.
Wow. What a story. And I think you knew then that Coach Henderson would be a passing coach as we see the spread offense and the passing offense. You probably got a little sight of that early on.
Absolutely. I know that he maybe was a little frustrated in not being able to get the ball more, and certainly would have loved to have been in a spread offense where they threw it. Of course, they would have had to have a quarterback to throw it, and I'm not sure I qualified to do that. But I know that afterwards, that's certainly the way he went, even though his dad was primarily a run-based offense. He went out and was innovative, as he's been innovative with a lot of things, and started running the spread offense in high school, and was one of the first coaches to do that. And some coaches would only do that for 1 year, and when they had the personnel to do that. And Coach Henderson, amazingly enough, has been able to do that year after year very effectively, and had a lot of community support and a good program from the ground up that has developed the kids that can throw the ball, kids that can catch the ball, and it's just been amazing at the program he's been able to develop here.
Sure, and it continued with Coach Rex Henderson, and now obviously with Jeremy Maupin and what he's doing with the program. So you graduate from high school. Did you go off to, I'm assuming you went to college?
I did. I graduated from high school here, had an academic scholarship at the University of Texas at El Paso, went 4 years there, and then went to law school at Texas Tech. Go Raiders.
Next year. There's always next year.
Yeah.
For Texas Tech. Anyway, and so did you come back to Artesia right away, or did you go someplace else and do some law before you came back here?
After law school, I worked with the Hinkle firm in Roswell and traveled a lot. We went and worked on projects in different places, spent a year in Oklahoma City, and then mainly working in oil and gas. Then a friend of mine called me and kept trying to convince me to come help him run his company, oil and gas exploration company in Texas. So in 1985, I moved to Texas and helped him run his business, and then he sold his business around 1992. And so I had a number of options of where to go. And my wife and I decided to move back to Artesia, a lot because of the Artesia traditions and the school system and the kids being able to play, and we wanted our kids to have the advantages of Artesian playing activities. And she's very short and I'm very short, so we figured they were going to be short, and we know Artesia always gives kids an opportunity, and we're very fortunate. Our kids played a lot of sports. Both of them played football, swam, ran track, played golf, and did very well at those things. And the oldest was actually in the band in addition to all of that. So it was very fortunate, and we've appreciated Artesia and the school system, and have really, that was a good decision for us.
Sure. And did you get any grief over raising a kicker?
Only when he missed, which fortunately wasn't very often. But no, I tell you what, I know my parents experienced some stress having quarterbacks, but it's also very stressful when you have a child that's a kicker. But fortunately, he's very good, and he had usually good protection and good job. So
that's kind of in the football world that the kicker position tends to get picked on a little bit. But when you have a good one, you know it, and it really helps the offense and everybody else with what they get to do. You're on the school board for Artesia, the Board of Education. When did you get on the school board, and what was your motivation for wanting to do that?
I've just finished my 24th year on the school board. I'm currently the president. I really had no ambition to do that. In fact, no political ambition. I want to be in the background doing things and not necessarily in politics itself. But a lot of people came to me and said, hey, we'd like for you to run. We feel like you'd be an asset to us. And so they did some arm twisting, and so I did, and been on there for 24 years.
And that's been quite an experience too, all the different things and challenges that school boards all across the country are facing right now. But you've got a great group of board members, and I know Lowell Irby passed away recently, and that's big shoes to fill there, but that's got to be rewarding when you see things happening smoothly as they tend to do.
Artesia's had a great tradition in many areas, and certainly the school board has been one of them. We have a lot of continuity. We have a lot of continuity in the administration leadership, and I was fortunate when I got on to be able to watch and listen to some really good board members, and it's carried on. And we've had at times some difficult issues and so forth, but nothing like COVID. That was extremely difficult. It was a lot of stress on everybody, and I lost a lot of sleep. I was very concerned about our kids and their education, and talked to a lot of people in Santa Fe about that. And unfortunately, they didn't listen to us very much. But certainly, that was a very trying time, and really glad to have that behind us.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't for a lack of effort. There are lots of people around the state that were trying to make the case on doing things a little bit differently than what they are. You do still get to travel a little bit. You probably wear orange from time to time. Do people immediately know you're from Artesia? Or if you get to tell the Artesia story to people from out of town, what are you most excited about telling people about Artesia and the whole experience here?
Well, fortunately, I usually don't have to tell them about it. It's like, you're from Artesia, and they know the traditions here, not just sports, but everything else. And everywhere we go, if they've had exposure to our kids, they say those are the best behaved kids. They're super good kids. And as far as wearing my orange, yes, I do it. In fact, I wore one today. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites, and I've probably worn this to maybe 10 state championship games, and so I wore this specially. But my wife happened to go to Roswell High School. She graduated the same year that I did, and so it took a while for her to get oriented to this Artesia Bulldog thing, but she's bought in. But I still get that question about, why does 3/4 of your closet have to be orange? And so...
Why is that even a question?
Well, if you went to Roswell High, I guess that's a question. But I've been able to maintain most of mine, except for what I've given away to others. So,
sure. Yeah. Oh, that's great. And they've got a pretty good football coach and a pretty good program up at Roswell High right now. So nothing to be ashamed of there. Well, we have for you, for enduring this time, we've got a beautiful Fan of the Week mug that we're going to get to you, and a $50 gift card from the Adobe Rose that you're welcome to use anytime. And we thank you for all that you've done on the school board, and of course as a supporter of Bulldog sports and the athletics and all education here in Artesia. Thank you so much, Jeff, for doing this.
Well, thank you. And I'd also, this is unsolicited, I'd just like to thank Tate Branch and his family for all that they've done for the community through their foundation that they've established. They help our school kids and our schools, and just really appreciate that. And really everybody, there is so much support here. It's really crazy just how much we have, and that's another thing that people just don't believe what we have here. In fact, we just recently had a visitor come in from out of town, and my wife's longtime friend, and she was just blown away with what we have here and the support that everyone gives our kids. And so I just thank everybody in our community, and especially as a school board member, to thank them for the private partnerships that we have, not just with Tate Branch, but with all the people. And so thank you very much.
They do a fantastic job. The Written in Red Foundation is the Tate Branch Foundation. There's a lot of kids with school supplies. There's a lot of kids with shoes, thanks to that Written in Red Foundation and the other programs that they help out with. Right. Jeff Bowman, our Fan of the Week. If there's a Fan of the Week you'd like to nominate, get a hold of Perry here at Tate Branch, and who knows, they may come up before the season's over. I think I was counting in my head. I think we've got at least 6 more games that we're going to be playing this year. Did I get the math right on that?
Or more.
Or more. All right.
Not or. There will be more.
There will be more. 7. I miscounted. I forgot. We're playing one tonight. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, folks. We'll get you back to Santa Teresa in just a moment.